Hello. I'm in my backyard. There are cars coming by right in front of me behind this fence, and so you will hear that, and please excuse the sound. I prefer to film outside. I usually film on my patio, but I wanted to film out here in the backyard, so uh, please be considerate of that. Thank you. It's a hard video to make. I want to make a video about a mental health, current mental health state and my mental health journey. I am struggling right now. I'm in one of the darkest places of my life, and I don't really see the light on this at this point in my life right now. And I want to talk about I do want to talk about now, but I want to talk about my journey to now, and I will come back to how I'm feeling now, but I'm going to start in the past. So I'm going to preface this by saying that I am someone who has endured physical, emotional, and mental trauma throughout my lifetime. I'm 23 now. I'm young, but that kind of things for me started at a very, very, very young age. I'm not going to get specific because the people that have inflicted this trauma upon me are still in my life, or I can't come in contact with those people, and I have forgiven them whether they ask for it or not. Some have, some have not, but I have forgiven them, and so by doing that, I'm not going to drag out their names. I'm not going to cite specific instances because some of those might give it away. Some of those it's unnecessary for me to relive my trauma just for a 20-minute video. I don't know how long this is going to be, but it'll probably be pretty long. So I don't think that it's really going to be productive for me just to sit here and just call people out, because that's not the point of this video. It's to share my heart and where I am in my life and where I've come from. And by that, I have to talk about tough stuff. So I will say trigger warning, suicide, self-harm. That is going to be talked about, but not in any kind of detail. So you shouldn't have to worry about it to be graphic or anything. But it is not going to be a light conversation in any way. So I do want to say, preface by I'm not calling anybody out. This is not attacking anybody. This is just me talking about my life. So I went through a lot of physical abuse, and I'm not going to specify what kind, where it was from. It happened in several different places by several different people throughout many, many, many years of my life, from as a small child all the way till high school age, somewhere in the middle of high school. Emotional and mental trauma happened from a very young age until very recently, and that as well I'm going to keep under wraps. So, this video, I kind of went back and forth about making it, but I think it is ultimately important, so that is why I'm doing it. It happens to be World Mental Health Day, and I did not plan that. I had already thought about making this video today, and then when I realized, yesterday I planned on it, and then I realized World Mental Health Day when I woke up, or I didn't really wake up, I hadn't been asleep, but when I saw my Twitter, so. Okay. When I was 14, I've already endured physical trauma at this point, emotional trauma at this point, but I was going to attempt suicide. I planned it, attempted it, different things. I'm not going to get into those details. Some things I've shared with people. Some people, like even family, doesn't know the depths of it, so I keep that to myself, and so I'm not going to get elaborate into that, but attempted and thought about it several times in that age between 11 and 14. 14, I get diagnosed with OCD, depression, and ADD, and all with slight hyperactivity, and also social anxiety disorder. I will just say, those times in my life were not handled in the best way by family members, and so there was no productive therapy going on. It was actually more regressive therapy that was being performed in my life, and so not to elaborate on it, but that just was not a positive time. So I had the tools. I was put on medication that was not working. I stayed on that medication from 14 to 19, 14 to 19, and then I was off of medication until I was 20, 21, and 21, sorry, 21, 22. And that medication was not working the whole entire time. So, it's really hard to talk about, sorry. Um, I was in a really dark spot back then, and I had virtually no one in my life. And looks can be deceiving. You might think I had certain people in my life. I did not. And I struggled, and I made it through it. And I got into 18, and I came out as a member of the LGBT community a couple of times in different ways, and I'm not going to elaborate on that, but I did. 18 to family, 19 to the public, and then 22 again. So at 18, it was. I've talked about this openly. It was a very harrowing time in my life. I was at the point where I'd rather be homeless than live in my home, and I was planning on going to like a homeless shelter or trying to find somewhere to live because I could not live in my home. It was that bad, and it was a really hard time. And finally, family came around, and within the year, by 10 or 11 months of that, and I basically threatened to cut off my relationship with them if they did not love me for who I am, and they decided to do that, and things were mended at that point, and past relationship problems were mended at that same point too. Then I came out, and when I came out, I lost everybody in my life. Like I initially said, my family. I'm talking about my immediate family when I have this discussion with. Other family did not, neither ignored it or they did not accept it, or some sort of both. And it was really hard. But at the time, it was just a sexual orientation. It was not anything more than that. So it was kind of okay. Not okay, but it was manageable. Then, I'm in college at this point, and I'm having a really hard time. And I realized that I'm transgender, female to male transgender. And so my mother's the only one in my family who's using the correct pronouns. No one else of all my family is using correct pronouns. To this day, a lot of them still don't. And every time I hear that, my birth name or a female pronoun, dagger to the heart. It's the most heart-wrenching thing. But when I say people in my life rejected me between this time of 19 to 22 and abandoned me and ridiculed me, it was, I'm saying that's the understatement. It was awful. I would get dozens of Bible verses a day. People tell me I'm going to burn in hell. People telling me, but they love me, but I'm going to burn in hell. And I'm this awful person, and I'm perverted, and I'm disgusting. Or they abandon me when they see me going through obvious hard times. And it was really hard to deal with that. And I thought at that time, what else? I have no one. I have nobody in my life. Family doesn't even respect me enough or care about the little bit of uncomfortableness for them that's causing me so much mental and emotional anguish. They care more about that little bit of that little bit of them being uncomfortable is more important than me basically living or dying, because it's that serious to me, and it's that impactful on my mental health and emotional health. And it's not like they didn't know this. I explained this to a lot of people. It's just ego, religion. They're basically them feeling comfortable or not. And so, still to this point, other than my mother, nobody in my family uses he, him pronouns. Nobody in my family calls me KB. Oh, I'll say a couple people have, to an extent, but when it comes to in person, they don't. But a lot don't, and it's really hard. It's really hard. So when I was 22, I decided that I was going to commit suicide. And it wasn't just the transgender thing, it was the mental health thing, feeling like I was alone, feeling like there was nobody in my life. And my grandmother was the only person that I thought really loved me, even though she was against the LGBT thing at first. she never treated me like she didn't love me, and other people in my life, when I felt like they didn't agree with that, they didn't love me because of the way they also treated me. It was like a hands-off relationship, and I felt that to my core. And so my grandmother is my best friend, and this was exactly a year. This was exactly a year after she died. Exactly a year after me going to the mental hospital. I went to the mental hospital because I was going to commit suicide. I had a note written out, a very eloquent note I might add, written out. And I remember begging my mother to take me. She didn't want to take me. Finally took me. It was just because of insurance. I didn't have insurance, so she was like, kind of, but I have a $9,000 medical bill because I went to the mental hospital for 4 days. And, which is ridiculous. And my grandmother, though, was like, yes, go get help. But at that time, I had told a lot of people I was going into the mental hospital. And if you didn't know, you didn't know, but I'm saying I told a lot of people. And those people did not call me. I had my cousin Brooke called me. I had two people, one person from a political group I was in come, and I had my mother and my grandmother. My mother and my grandfather come. But nobody in my life outside of those people came. And it felt like I'm at the lowest point in my life. I literally was half a second from not being on this earth anymore, and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up. And when you are that low and you feel like nobody is there for me, nobody cares about me, and I don't care, you can give me the bullshit about I didn't know what to say, you can give me the bullshit about I was busy for 4 days, you can, if you can't make your way down to a hospital in the same town you live in, then you can at least pick up your phone for 30 seconds. And that didn't happen. And I felt completely alone, completely, and it was like hell on earth, that place. I will never go back. I don't care how depressed I get, I'll never go back to that place. It was awful, and I've had all traumatic experiences from being in that place. But when you're that low and you feel like nobody cares, you don't forget that. And it's hard to forgive it. And I wrestled with that. That ignored it. That never, and they say, oh, they reached out to my mom, they did whatever. My mother's not the one in the mental hospital. I am. My mother's not the one enduring this. I am. And it really, really caused a deep wound in my heart, into my soul. And you may think I'm exaggerating, but you have to think about somebody being on their last, holding on to their last thread, and then literally people, I don't like that. That's too real for me. That's too uncomfortable for me. Or I don't care enough. Or it's not really my thought. Or I'm too busy. But like somebody that you say you love or care about, which there are very few people left at this point because everybody had abandoned me by then. And it's hard to, and you don't show up or call or anything. It shows more about who you are, but it affects me more than it affects you. And fuck. I try not to swear, but I'm being authentic and I swear, so sorry. This this was a really hard time in my life. When I came out of here, I started therapy. I had to go to this place because I didn't have insurance that you had group therapy once a month. Every few weeks you'd have one-on-one therapy, and then you have a doctor. You'd get medicine every 3 months. And my doctor, that I didn't see but every 3 months for about 5 seconds, because he'd walk in, ask about the medicine, say no change, and walk out. I mean, that was basically, you're not getting new kind of medicine, bye. And he was a doctor that performed conversion therapy, and so I'm not allowed to be open about my sexual and gender identity here, so I'm not getting the kind of care that I need. And I'm still at this place. There's nowhere for me to go. I have that medicine. And so I started going to this place. In the hospital, diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I was later on, I was diagnosed with borderline personality. I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder on top of the social anxiety and the depression I had. And I was diagnosed with PTSD. When I get to my place, I get diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and which has been the main thing that I suffer with, along with depression and social and general anxiety. PTSD happens once a week or so. I have a flashback or a really bad, you know, kind of anxiety attack from it. Have panic attacks on a daily, just about. Sometimes multiple in a day, then I'll go a couple days, and then I won't have one, and then I'll have one, and then yeah, it's very sporadic. And so me, I post a lot about my mental health, and some people will say like the status or say sorry to hear about that or here if you need me, but this it feels empty. It's not people say, hey, I know you're struggling, let's go to a movie. Hey, I know you're struggling, what can I do to help you? It's none of that's there. I don't have anybody. I had one friend that I've known for a long time since I was in 7th grade, and we kind of hit a weird patch. We weren't talking a lot, and I kind of was like, "Are we friends or are we not?" And it kind of worked out, and we're on a good path. Even that person who I love very much and very dearly, like I don't talk. I don't see that person. They don't live here anymore. Like that's not the kind of relationship that I need in my life. Not that I don't need that relationship, but I'm saying it's not the kind of relationship that I'm craving right now. And so I don't have that. And I'm at the point in my life that I can't get out of bed most days. That I can't. That I can't think a happy thought. That I can't maybe laugh. I spend all my days in bed either watching TV or just staring at a wall because I'm over the point of watching TV. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to talk to nobody. And if I post something about this, it doesn't do anything. If I don't say anything, that doesn't do anything. And I'm in this place where it's like I'm fucking crying out for help. And there's nobody to be found. And these are the people that say they're religious, that say they're Christians, that say God and Jesus are their number one in life. And the only time, I will say this, the only time these people reach out to me, some of them, like a handful, I've been to be like, come back to church. Give God another try. You know, but when I was there, I was a leper. After I came out and I was still there. And before then, they let things happen to me and stood back. And so I personally, I have no interest in that anymore. I'm on my own path with that. But if you say you love me, you say no hard feelings against you, I'm a Christian, you see somebody that you spent time with, at least if you don't love me now, you did at one time, at one point. And then you say, God and Jesus are my number one in life, and I live by Jesus, and I'm married to Jesus, or whatever you say. And then you, and then you literally, like, it's baffable. It's baffling, sorry. Laughable and baffling at the same time. Wow. It is baffling that you treat me like scum, basically. And you'll say, I don't agree with you, so I can't talk to you, or I can only talk to you about religion because that's the only way to justify it. And I care about what I think and what people think about me more than I care about somebody suffering. When they blatantly put this on social media, they blatantly say this all the time, I'm struggling, doesn't matter. And liking a status or saying sorry to hear about that is not the same as reaching out and showing love and caring about somebody. And when you post all day long about LGBT people are disgusting, perverted, or you like statuses about Donald Trump saying this about this person, you are showing not the love of Jesus. I'll tell you that. And I guess I just wish people would be more honest about who they really are. Because if you're not going to be there for people in the way that you proclaim you are, then maybe stop calling yourself a Christian. That's the way I look at it. Because that's how I feel about the situation. It is hard to go into life where my phone has not received a text message other than family members asking about certain like day-to-day things. From people outside of that, I have not received more than 30, no, that's too much, more than 15 messages since I was 19 years old. If it was not related to, I don't agree with you, you're going to hell, all that kind of shit. But like, just how are you? I have thought about you. Da, da, da. I have none of that. Very few of that. And a lot of time that's tinged with, but please come back to church, or missed you around church, or blah 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 church, or this Bible verse, or praying for you, but that's it. Or people contact me and say, I feel bad about the way I treated you, which I appreciate, and I accept those apologies, and I forgive those people. I feel bad about the treat you, but I can't really be your friend because I don't agree with you. And that's a little bit in the lines. And sometimes people have said that verbatim, and then some people have kind of insinuated that, but I just don't know why people are care more about other people, what they think, or more about their religious beliefs. They care about people in their hearts. And the people that they know they spent years with, cast them aside once they don't agree and think like they do. And this video has come to some sort of rant, but it makes me angry. And it hurts me on such a deep, profound level that I have no one that I can just talk to about this kind of stuff. And like, you think, okay, you don't have friends, you have family. I don't. My family has treated me just like everybody else. And the family that's come around is not that great. The treatment has still not been that great. And I'm at the point, oh fuck, I'm trying not to cry. I got my Batman and my Captain American towel. I'm at the point where I'm like, what am I here for? Like, I don't have friends. The one relationship I screwed up when I was 18 because I was afraid to come out. Another relationship I had was more unrequited, and it was my first real heartbreak, and that happened in 2018. So I don't know. I know I got a lot of life ahead of me, but like, I'm somebody full of so much love. I don't have that to give to anybody. I don't have friends to share with. I feel like I'm so passionate about so many things. Like growing up, I played 6 instruments. I played 6 or 7 sports. I was MVP in all those things, winning trophies, and I was captain, and like I was great in sports and theater and acting and drama, like all these things, music, vocal. Like, I had everything down because I was trying to be somebody full of worth. I thought that defined who I am. If I'm great at all these things, and I would spend so much time alone just perfecting. That's how you get good things: perfection and practice. Like trying to perfect something. It's not natural. It's a lot of work. And I spent so much time alone that all I was doing was perfecting all the things I was interested in, which is a whole vast array of things. And that still wasn't good enough for the people in my life. At least it didn't feel like it. A lot of people in my family have a hard time talking about hard things. They're very shallow, not shallow, that's kind of a harsh word, but more surface level when it comes to things like that. They don't want to talk about things, it's too uncomfortable. And when they do, it's hurtful, the things they have to say, sometimes. And so now, like, I'm crying out for help. I'm saying, care about me, show me you love me, be there for me. But it's like, no, we're just gonna, me and my family, we're just gonna get arguments on a daily basis. Oh no, me and my family, they're just gonna ignore me. Like, I'm talking about different people in my family. They're just gonna ignore me. They're just gonna refuse to call me by my, at least KB. You don't have to call me Christian Michael. You can call me KB. That's too much to ask. I just don't know what to do. I feel hopeless. I feel worthless. I feel completely alone. I cry myself. Like, I don't sleep. I'm chronic insomnia. I get an hour. I was going to say I cry myself to sleep, but I get about 30 minutes to an hour of sleep in a 24-hour cycle. Sometimes I won't get any sleep at all. Then I'll crash for like 6 hours after 4 days of no sleep. I just don't sleep. And I spend all that time just kind of like crazy, feeling crazy because, yeah, I have mental illness. That doesn't make me crazy, but that makes me suffer. Just like somebody with physical illness would, I mentally suffer. But it's like, who am I going to call? Who am I going to text? Who am I going to hang out with? Nobody. I call somebody, I'll text somebody, they don't reply. And if they do, it's very short, it's a quick conversation, it's nothing of importance. Nobody wants to talk about these kind of things, and if they do, I don't know where they are. I am at my, like, I feel like I'm on the verge of a breakdown like I was when I had my breakdown in late 2017. I feel like that. Like, I'm grieving as well for my grandmother dying last year, which People reached out to everybody else in the family, not me. People like my status. Somebody said, I'm sorry to hear that, but I didn't hear anybody say, what do you need personally? I felt alone. I felt, and I was the closest person to my grandmother. I don't know what you may think, but I'm telling you, we have the closest relationship and bond. She basically raised me, really. Truth of it. Mostly, I'll say mostly did. And I loved her so much. And I'm dealing with that on top of dealing with all this, and I feel like I'm drowning, like I'm sinking. And I don't know where to go from here. It's like I'm shouting, no, I'm screaming into the void. Like, none of this video doesn't matter. This is not going to do anything. Nothing's going to change. That's probably the reality. But my heart is broken and it is open, cracked wide. And I'm hurting so badly. And I don't know what to do. I don't think there's anywhere for me to go with this. I don't think there's anybody that's just magically going to show up. Oh, here's a partner for you, which is not even in my top 10 of priorities right now. I'm just using that example. Here's best friends for you. Oh, here's this, because I can do what I want, but you can only get so far one way. And I've tried, and at this point I've freaking given up. And so I don't know how to remedy this. I don't know how to change this, but I do know that this is all I can do is just tell you how I'm feeling. That the anger and the heartbrokenness of it all, I'm sharing it with you. And I don't care if this paints me in a weird light. I'm just telling you how I feel. Because that's all I got, is truth and honesty. And I'm a very artistic person. I'm a very passionate person. I spout out at the mouth 100 miles an hour about movies and tech and TV and sports and painting, like artists, like painting type artists, and all kinds of literature, like everything that I'm interested in. I just 100 miles an hour, and that's too much for people. I've been this a lot of times. Too much for people, and I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to work. I try to improve on a daily basis, but I can't change the innateness of it, and nobody wants to meet me halfway. So I don't know. I don't know how long I'll be able to put up with this shit. And I'm not gonna do anything. It's not suicidal, it's a video, but I'm saying, I don't know how long I legit can do this. Because my purpose, there is no purpose. I don't have no money, I don't have any prospects of what I would do in my career. I just feel like I'm in this limbo, of potential. But, I have a lot of potential as a person, creative, artistic, brilliant. And I'm not saying this to be funny, whatever. I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I'm saying I have a brilliant mind. Take away math. I have a brilliant mind. I have a big heart. I have a lot of potential in life. But I don't know if it's my mental illness or just my experiences, but I don't know how to pursue those things. And I feel just trapped and locked in this cage. And I'm screaming out for help for somebody to come unlock it. Or just maybe not even open the door, just unlock it. And maybe I can find my